Hey guys, this is Starcraft and I'm back to cast another 2v2 match for you. This one is going to be on Scorched Haven and it will be between haCkKyruel, the red Zerg, and his teammate will be Clcsed, the blue Zerg. I still believe it is Clcsed and not CLC said, because that would be weird. And so their opponents will be Dibz, the teal Terran, and Oblivious, the purple Zerg. A very high Masters level matchup coming your way. I'm really looking forward to this. And I just wanted to say I'm excited to see Clcsed play, because it has been a very long time since I have seen him play in a game. And Clcsed, if you're watching this, you need to send me more replays. I'm missing your replays, man. So, anyway, Zerg versus Terran Zerg on Scorched Haven, and if you noticed anything from the last series other than my random rant about hacking, I think it was Game 3 last series that was Zerg, or no, it was Game 4 that was Zerg versus Zerg Terran, and the Zerg and Terran players opted to play a little bit more defensive, worried about the double 10 pull. So we'll see what Dibz and Oblivious decide to do about that. And Dibz and Oblivious, very strong team, and I know this from personal experience because these guys are so good that I actually played 3v3s with them and we placed in the Master League. That's how good they are. They carried me to my first ever Masters placement. So Dibz is actually going to be walling off here, it looks like, with his barracks at the front, and Clcsed is going to be really annoying about that. This drone really wants to fight the SCV, but such a pain there to try and do. Looks like he's going to go ahead and fall back, and the Clcsed spawning pool actually came pretty late there, it looks like. So Oblivious is going to have his 6 lings out on the field a little bit sooner, and we'll see. Okay, Kyruel is going for Roach Warren, so I like the play there. Again, as you see, it looks like Dibz is setting up for a Hellion build, and if you notice, Game 1 of the last series that I just cast, Legend went for a Roach build, a fast Roach build, and it really was successful against Sorcery's Hellion, so we'll see how it pays off this game. Clcsed is shy 2 Zerglings right now on Oblivious, so he's going to have to keep running because he won't be able to, he's going to get surrounded. But it looks like the Spine Crawler for Clcsed is going to finish here, and that is going to keep Oblivious's Zerglings away. And he may be able to pick off a couple of Zerglings here. No, some nice micro there from Kyruel to save those reinforcing Zerglings. So it looks like Oblivious is just going to hang out in the front here and be annoying, continue to scout here and make sure he can see if there is any kind of push going on while his speed finishes up. And this is something I talked about the other game, is if you can set your Zerglings up to be in a position to engage right when your speed finishes, it can be very advantageous. So we'll see if Oblivious tries to take advantage of that. If he had been chasing those 4 lings around, he may have been able to take them out, but he is just going to chill here and continue to watch the front door while the Hellions from Dibz are on the way. So the pressure is going to be on here, and oh, there was some kind of explosion there. I thought I heard a Baling blow up, but no, that was just a Roach acid death, I believe. So, and now the Hellions are here from Dibz, so the pressure is on. There's no speed. There's no speed down here for Clcsed either. They're both going Roaches. How did I not notice that? What is wrong with me? Okay, the double Roaches here. And Clcsed is desperately trying to get his drones out of the way. It looks like he actually moved the Spine Crawler down here. And the Zerglings from Oblivious are all going to go down here. The Queen survives. The Hellions both die. And now there's a bunch of Roaches on the field for the right team. And Dibz looks like he's going to lose a reinforcing Hellion there. Oblivious is like, oh man, dude, you better pull back here. Better pull back. There's way too many Roaches. The one thing though, these Roaches so slow, and these Roaches are going to take so long to get across the map. Even though Scorched Haven pretty close, it is going to give Dibz time to get some Marauders out, get his Marauder slow, and his stim pack won't be finished, but the Marauder slow will likely be finished by the time this engagement reaches the critical point, which will be back around these ramps here. He's going to want to pull back here, and these Zerglings are going to try and get us around and trap some of these roaches when the Marauders are ready to engage. No, Oblivious is going to say, oh, I thought he was going to run right by into the Zerg bases. He could have done that, but it may have been not worth it, as reinforcing roaches and spine crawlers may have been able to deflect that, but it looks like Oblivious did get us around there on some roaches, able to slow up that attack push a little bit, and some more roaches from Clcsed are a little bit out of position here, and they are going to get picked off. So Zergling's doing a really nice job keeping the roaches at bay while more Marauders come out. Now Dibz does have 5 Marauders, and it looks like that should be enough to deflect this attack, and so haCkKyruel and Clcsed are going to be like, okay, it's too late. Our window is past for this counterattack, so we're going to fall back and maybe try and get up some expansions. Yeah, as we see Clcsed throwing down a natural expansion here, and we'll see if Dibz and Oblivious do opt to do the same thing soon or not, as Dibz is actually going for siege tanks now, realizing these Hellions are completely useless. He has switched it up to siege tanks, so going for Marauder siege tank here, actually getting a bunker here at the front. I guess he's just worried about a complete roach bust or just an all-in roach attack right now, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen, as the right team is opted to expand, and Oblivious is going to see what's going on. He's going to see that there's just a bunch of roaches chilling here to defend, and it looks like they're going to be aggressive, and even bringing out the siege tank is Dibz. No, they are going to pull back, making me look silly, you guys. And so both teams are going to be content now to sit back in macro, and you know what that means. That means I get to talk about random stuff and miss a whole bunch of battles and really cool stuff. So as we do see Hydras coming out for Clcsed, and at the same time haCkKyruel is going for that Spire. So the teching has begun, and finally Oblivious is throwing down his expansion as well. So, okay, I guess I could talk about a couple of random things. One is, okay, you guys, I've been really improving my channel a lot lately, and I'm so excited about everybody, all the feedback I've been getting and everything, and I want to thank Ash again for the artwork he did on the channel. But there's one more thing I need to do. I need to fix my logo. My logo is totally cheesy as all hell. It's just something that I threw together literally in like a couple of minutes, as the Scouting Overlord is going to be taken out here by the Hydras. And so yeah, I really need to work on a logo that's actually like cool, and I like kind of the block lettering of the Irish Starcraft, but there should be like a cool picture or something. If anyone has any ideas for that, please let me know, as these roaches from Clcsed are gonna get way ahead of themselves, and some Marauders are going to pick off a couple roaches, though that could have been a lot worse for Clcsed than it was there, as he was able to get back in time, but those roaches were totally out of position, away from haCkKyruel's roaches, falling asleep a little bit, as Dibz and Oblivious are going to be applying some pressure. There's one siege tank here sieging up. It's pretty far back though, so it's going to be more of a contain, it looks like, than any kind of attack. And right as I say that, Dibz is going to scoot the siege tank up. He also is bringing in a second siege tank. It looks like the roaches and Hydras are going to try and press and break this contain before it gets too out of control. This could be a very close battle. The siege tanks are doing a ton of damage. There are now 3 siege tanks in the back. More Marauders are coming up here, and oh my god, all the roaches from haCkKyruel have just died, and the Hydras from Clcsed are forced to fall back. The siege tanks in the back behind these Marauders dealing so much damage. Dibz doing a nice job of creeping these siege tanks forward here one at a time. Don't want to ever have, in a position like this, you don't want to have your siege tanks all out of siege mode at the same time. But it looks like Hydra's really getting nervous right now about the siege tanks coming forward. And the mutas are on the way from haCkKyruel. I don't want to miss any kind of muta harass or anything. There are 3 mutas out here, and the mutas are going to be able to go untouched and kill all the siege tanks. Dibz will be forced to fall back. All these units are going to die. And oh man, Dibz, he had no marine support at all. And oh, that is just depressing. He's got to be kicking himself. And it looks like meanwhile Oblivious is going for that pathogen glance and a Hydraless Den, so perhaps we'll see some infestor play, and that's a lot more than a perhaps. There's something about that word perhaps in all these games, not just my cast, but other casters too. Just throw around the word perhaps like it's nothing, and just constantly throwing it around like it doesn't mean anything just to fill space. So I apologize every time I do that. It's a bad habit from listening to too many Husky and HD games and whatnot. A million drones are being sent down here by haCkKyruel. See if this expansion can stay alive or not. Jeez, that is a lot of drones getting sent down there, and he doesn't have any drones left at his natural expansion. I wonder if he meant to send that many drones because, okay, never mind. I'm not going to question haCkKyruel. Look how many drones he's been pumping. So there's actually a Baneling nest now for Clcsed on the way, as the mutas from haCkKyruel are going to be trying to do some harassment back here. There's just now a missile turret going down for Dibz, and that's a really late missile turret. The mutas have been exposed for a while, so maybe Dibz actually had to complete an engineering bay before he could even build this, and I didn't realize it. And oh no, these mutas are going to do so much damage to Dibz's base. Does he even have any marines? He does have a few marines here that are going to be running over. So annoying, you guys. I will not sit here and repeat how annoying mutalisks are, because probably the only thing more annoying than mutas in your base is Starcraft whining about how annoying mutas are in your base. So I'm going to go ahead and stop doing that, as Dibz is trying to, or he does have a starport now. I wonder if he's going to make some Vikings out of there, or what he's going to do there. I think he wanted to make some Vikings, and now he's like, oh, I don't need to. So we do have 3 infestors, or 5 infestors, excuse me, building up some energy now for Oblivious, and those infestors so strong against mutalisks. Though they did get slightly nerfed versus mutalisks because of the stun duration has been cut in half. So not as much time to just throw down that fungal growth and scoot all your hydras underneath to clean up as there used to be, but really not that big a deal, because once the mutas are rooted, you can just continue to throw down more fungal growths on them and kill them pretty quickly that way. So you don't even actually need the hydras anymore really to kill them. Not that you did before, but it would take forever before. So and it looks like haCkKyruel is going to go ahead and try and take this top expansion. Clcsed has already built an expansion in the bottom middle, and he's got some nice creep going here, even using overlords to connect these bases. He doesn't have any drones here, a couple drones. And it looks like Clcsed and haCkKyruel want to bring the pain to the front door of Oblivious and Dibz, and this is not going to be a good idea, I don't think, as these infestors are really going to do a number on the Hydralisk. If the fungal growths are going down to spread over this whole army, look how much damage the fungal growth is doing. Only one to make it 2 tanks back here, and even just those 2 tanks are doing so much damage. It's a nice placement here of the infestors, bringing them up to this high ground, and so that they won't get sniped. And so that attack is thwarted very quickly, though the infestor tech has been revealed now. And so we'll see what haCkKyruel and Clcsed decide to do, if they try and do any switch up their tech versus these infestors. Infestors are so tough to counter. I've been having so much trouble countering these infestors. Normally, or maybe not normally, but I would like to sit here and tell you what the best counter is for infestors, but honestly, I mean, other than using Ghost on Terran, is really, I don't really have an answer. I mean, yeah, if you can get some high-tech units like, you know, if you get up to Ultras and Broodlords and stuff, those are going to counter them pretty well, but once the infestors get to such a large number like this, they really, really are a pain to deal with, especially if the neural parasite is researched, which it isn't right now for Oblivious, but if he does get that neural parasite, infestors are even going to be good against Ultras and Broodlords and stuff like that. So infestors are extremely powerful unit. And again, I know I went off on this before, but I'm so surprised that they not only did they sort of beef up the infestors' fungal growth as far as the damage goes, but they also they left the pathogen glands upgrade for infestors, but removed the Khydarian amulet for the Protoss High Templar, and that was something that I thought was really strange, as these roaches looks like they want to be sneaky, sneaky, sneaky roaches, and unfortunately for these sneaky roaches, there's an overseer sitting right here, so these roaches are about to get fried, and they are going to go ahead and turn back, as they actually weren't really that sneaky. And the scan is going to go off so that a few extra roaches will get picked off there, but not losing too many roaches with haCkKyruel. I wonder if haCkKyruel is capped on supply. No, he is not capped on supply, but one thing to note as Zerg players is that the longer the game goes on and you still have this army full of roaches, roaches could possibly be the weakest unit for the amount of food that they cost, which is 2 food. So once you start reaching critical mass in army, if your army is like all roach, your army is a lot less powerful as opposed to something like this with siege tanks, infestors, hydralisks, Thors, medevacs. So Dibz and Oblivious with a really nice mix of units right now. Looks like they are going to straight push through the center, but at the same time, Clcsed going to take advantage of his creep spread. It looks like he wants to make a flanking attack here, and Dibz and Oblivious are going to have to fall back because Clcsed would just be able to run right in here and wreak havoc. So it looks like a little bit of indecisiveness right now from both teams. As the armies begin to reach critical mass, you'll see this a lot. It's really going to come down to positioning at the next engagement. So everybody starts to get really careful about where the next engagement is going to take place, and it looks like Oblivious and Dibz may try and sucker this army from Clcsed down this ramp into the siege tank fire. The fungal growths are going off on the high ground. Nice scan right there from Dibz to allow all these fungal growths to go off, and so much damage has been done to Clcsed army. He's forced to retreat, and luckily for him, most of these are roaches, but oh my god, spoiler alert, Clcsed does not have burrow research, so these roaches will not be able to regenerate any hit points, and this base is going to get toasted in about 2 seconds from this gigantic army. I feel like, where is haCkKyruel right now? What is he doing? He's sitting here with all these roaches waiting for them to come to him, but the Broodlords are out for haCkKyruel, so he somehow managed to sneak those Broodlords out. I did notice those Corruptors being built, and I didn't mention it, so sorry about that, you guys, but it looks like he decided to warp those, or morph those into Broodlords, and now is going to be attacking this army. And with no Neural Parasite ability on these Infestors, really, Dibz and Oblivious have no counter to these Broodlords. There's no air units. There's only a couple of Thors. Right now, Dibz looks like he is scrambling to try and get some Vikings out to deal with the Broodlords. The Broodlords are so slow, again, just like the Roach Push at the beginning, taking so long to get to the main. Here comes the main engagement. Some nice timing right now from haCkKyruel, and a nice concave as well, but the power of the army in the back with these siege tanks and the Infestors. And look at Oblivious doing such a good job keeping these Infestors alive in the back. They have so much energy. It is imperative that these Infestors stay alive, but uh-oh, the Broodlords are doing a ton of damage now to the Infestors on the high ground, and at the same time, Clcsed and Clcsed and haCkKyruel are starting to break this. Oh my god, could Dibz and Oblivious lose this game right now? The Broodlords are doing so much damage, and there are still 8 of them. Make it 7, make it 6 of them left. They're starting to go down now. The Vikings are doing the best they can to take them out, but the Hydralisk support from Clcsed is really supporting those Broodlords very well, and it looks like Dibz and Oblivious may lose this game. I don't think they can come back from this. Wow, haCkKyruel making the tech switch to Broodlords, and Dibz and Oblivious did not see that coming, and that was game. So that was a pretty exciting game. Thank you, Dibz, for sending me this game, and thank you for having the cojones to send me a loss. I love it because it really is exciting for me and everybody else when they don't know if it's going to be a win or loss. And so Dibz, gotta hand it to you for sending me your loss, but at the same time, gotta hand it to Clcsed and haCkKyruel. Nicely done there. I thought that Dibz and Oblivious had the advantage, but then when haCkKyruel and Clcsed took these middle expansions, Dibz and Oblivious sort of let these expansions get going for a while, and they did a nice job of killing this expansion from Clcsed, but Clcsed was just like, dude, we need to pull back. haCkKyruel was probably talking to him just like, dude, just wait. Just pull back, sacrifice the expansion, let me get my... Oh no, it looks like I missed some kind of attack here. Oh no, and I thought I was doing good this game. So I'm going to have to go back and see... okay, you guys, I know I've been getting complaints that I don't rewind enough, so let me finish that thought really quickly, as the right team did a nice job waiting until they had the composition they need, which was a bunch of Broodlords, and then they made the final death push and a nice execution, some nice concaves over here in this battle. So, yeah, that's going to do it for the cast, but I'm going to go ahead and go back now and see if I can't figure out what happened to this base, as right now this base is here, so let's see. Somehow this expansion died, and I had no idea what happened. What was that? Okay, haCkKyruel is killing roaches to make space for his broodlords right there. But that does not explain what happened to this hatchery, as this is pretty far in the game. This is right before the final death push, basically. Those are the broodlords down there you can see flying down right now. So what happened? How did this base die? I'm totally just curious right now at this point. As how did this base die? Am I just totally spacing and I actually saw it? Okay, it looks like I see what's going on here. It looks like Oblivious. These Zerglings would have just gotten annihilated in that battle back there. So Oblivious says, "Screw that, man! I'm gonna make a counterattack, and maybe they'll pull some of their army back to deal with it." So it looks like Oblivious just pretty much had a massively counterattack, and because those Zerglings would have lasted for about 1 second in this battle. They would have absorbed a lot of damage though at the beginning. So unfortunately for Dibz, you see this siege tank here was out of siege mode for the majority of that battle. That may have cost him quite a bit there. But either way, that was a very exciting game. Thank you, Dibz, for sending me that game, and congratulations to Clcsed and haCkKyruel. Clcsed, if you're watching this game, save me some more of your replays, man. And so that's going to do it for me. This is Irie Starcraft, and peace out.